I'm here with you this week with the experiment gummy bears. So in this experiment, we will be using gummy bears. One set of bears will be soaked in tap water, and another set will be soaked in a saturated saltwater solution. Both sets will be submerged roughly 6 to 10 hours. I ended up going to 8 because I got bored of waiting. Then we will compare the two sets to determine how they reacted to each of the solutions. So, how it works? Well, the name of the game is osmosis, in which water moves from areas of high concentration to areas of low concentration. Think what's happening in your cells when water is moving throughout your body, and also what kills you when you drink seawater. So, in osmosis, the goal of it is to create an equilibrium. Water that is very high concentration wants to go to areas of low concentration, so both concentrations become equal. What is happening in our gummy bear is it is an area of low concentration. The water, when we have it in the water solution, is moving into the gummy bear, causing it to swell and equalize with the water around it. Conversely, what should happen with the gummy bear that's placed in the saltwater solution, it's the gummy bear is the area of high concentration. And so you would expect the water, or any water that is in the gummy bear, to be drawn out into the saltwater solution, making the gummy bear shrink. This is not what happened for me. So what you need: gummy bears, of course, water, of course, table salt, I used Morton, 2 or more, depending on how many you're going to have set up going at a time. Containers, I used red Solo cup. Make sure that I'm getting everything right. I always do appreciate her help. Okay, so next. So then we created a saltwater solution in one of our containers. Stir table salt into one of them until the salt stops dissolving. And then, of course, I marked which one was the salt, though it actually stayed fairly cloudy compared to the freshwater solution. So later on I realized it wasn't as necessary, but, also you do not want to be mixing them up and have completely skewed results. Running a little slow today. But I added the gummy bears to each of the solutions. I also added 2 extra sets of gummies, which would be 2 pairs of Coke bottles and a pair of gummy snakes. And then I placed the containers somewhere safe, out of reach, because it was going to be sitting there for a very long time. Now we waited. 6 hours in, I went to check on what was happening. No, something interesting was happening. I could definitely tell there was a difference between the two sets. At hour 8, as I said, I got bored of waiting, so I pulled them out, and I had a piece of paper towel already laid out and marked so I wouldn't mess them up, mix them all together, and a control sample in the middle of gummies that had not been submerged. Here is my freshwater, my control, and my marine breed of gummies. And you can see there is quite a dramatic difference. So here's the comparison of the 3 gummy bears. Oh my goodness, was I surprised by how big the freshwater gummy got. Like, look at it in comparison to the control gummy. It is astounding. It was also incredibly fragile. It was falling apart as if it were Jell-O. I had to be very careful. But if we wiggle on over to the marine, or the saltwater gummy, we can see that something went a little bit awry. It grew in the water solution, and it should not have. So, what went wrong? Likely add enough salt to the solution to shrink the gummies. I thought I had been mixing it, and it had stopped dissolving. But I don't think I had given it enough time to dissolve. I think, yes, it had stopped dissolving, but it perhaps would have kept on dissolving if I had given it a little more time. So what went right? Obviously, the freshwater gummies grew beyond all of my expectations. They tripled in size the extra 2 hours. To see how big they could have gotten, that would have been very interesting. And then, of course, the most important question in conclusion is, were they still tasty? No, they were not. The saltwater gummies were salty, and the freshwater gummies tasted like washed out Jell-O. Not my recommendation. Anyway, here were the extraneous gummies. Grew extremely... Like, I was laughing quite hard when I pulled out the gummy snake from the freshwater solution. It was just falling apart. It was humongous. It was about as long as my hand. It was a big gummy anyway, even before going into the water, but it became huge. And then, of course, the Coke bottle got humongous, but I'm glad I put in the extra gummies. It was interesting to see. Took on water. Definitely the thinner snake. Look at that surface area. Very absorbent. So the references. Textbook, and then I actually ended up, when I realized mine was not going as planned, I went and looked up a YouTube video. Hello, my brother. A YouTube video on book, and that was interesting. I was quite jealous. Hers did shrink. But this was a fun video, and I was very excited to do it. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone next week. Bye-bye.